It's shit. I never do the intros. I just thought I'd do one, get your attention. What?
Well, I'm going to review the plugin now.
Awesome. All right, so Dan,
Yes.
what is it we're looking at this week?
Okay, we're looking at the T-Rex Stealth Limiter, the dullest white plugin we've ever had the misfortune to review. You can barely see it on the paper it's printed on. I'll leave that there.
Okay, yeah, that's a good start. So tell me, what is it?
Basically, it's a stealth limiter, so it's a limiter that you don't realise is limiting.
Wow.
Yeah.
Is that a good thing?
It depends whether you want to know that your limiter's actually limiting or not.
Okay.
So you press these buttons and
Yep.
turn some of the knobs and basically sounds amazeballs.
Awesome.
So based on that,
Yeah.
it's not shit.
Okay.
I'd go and get it.
Okay. My job is done.
Should we go back to the... That didn't work, did it? I tell you what, welcome to Is It Shit? What are we looking at, Sean?
Today we are looking at the T-Rex Stealth Limiter.
Okay, we got that far.
We got that far.
What colour is it? No,
It is white.
it is white. All white.
Yeah, or maybe it's brushed steel. I don't know. Anyway, whatever. It's very light.
Good name for a band. Is there a brushed steel?
That's a terrible name for a band.
Okay.
Unless you're in a band called Brushed Steel, in which case,
In which case,
it's a great name.
you want a T-Rex
Yeah.
anyway.
Anyway, so, right, okay, you were right. This is a limiter. This is the final plug-in in your master bus, or maybe if you're mastering, this is the thing where you get it up to the level you want it to be at in order to send out to streaming services or whatever else. It's a fairly simple thing. It's got an input, which you obviously drive until you get to the point where it's sitting just right. It's got an output, so you can sit where you want it. I would normally sit my masters so they're like peaking at minus 0.3. And then you've got some boxes with some things you can select. So bypass, we know what bypass does. Unity gain, so that basically you push that and it sets it so that it's not adding any gain, so you get to hear what it's doing. You hear the limiting without it boosting the output, so that's quite useful. It's got an infrasonic filter which cuts off the frequencies that you can't hear anyway. You know, there might be stuff that's really low but really loud. You can't hear it on your monitors, but it's causing the limiter to...
An infrasonic filter.
Yeah.
So is that everything above and below 20s? 20 hertz, 20k?
Yes, the stuff you can't hear but is there.
So what about when you've got all your Marg EQ with your airband stuff,
Yeah.
and you've added all this airband stuff, and you
Yep.
stick this on and put your infrasonic filter on?
Yeah, okay, but you can't hear that stuff anyway when you're talking about the airband, but it influences the stuff you can hear.
Okay.
So it shouldn't cause any issues. But anyway, the bigger issue is the stuff you can have a very, very loud signal, very low down, that you can't hear, that is totally affecting your compression, your limiting. So, it's quite a good idea. It also has the ISPL section, and that is intersample peak limiting. So you can have it at 4 times or 16 times, and that just affects how fast it is working on that stuff. So intersample peaks are things, literally what it says, between sample, very fast peaks that are going above 0 dB, which you don't want. This allows you to catch those, so that's good. And then you have the 4 modes. There's tight, which is, from what I can tell, is just flat. That's not doing anything particularly special. Balanced, bizarrely, is the next one up. It's a slightly different tone, and then the next two add different amounts of harmonics. And then you set your dithering, whether you're going to a 16-bit or a 24-bit file. The metering is a little bit underwhelming for me, for something that's doing such an important
That's
job.
strange, because you love a meter, don't you?
Love a meter, but I don't think these meters are good enough. Because you see...
Substandard meters.
Well, I think so. You can see your input and you can see your output.
They don't measure up.
They don't measure up. You've only got input, output, and reduction, and they're measured in dB. I'd really want to see LUFS these days. It's just not helpful enough, really, for the job it's doing. But it's been around a little while. It sounds all right. Someone asked us to look at it. It does the job. It does do the job. But for me, I think there are better tools out there that do the same job.
It's certainly got some features there that I think are pretty cool. I think the infrasonic filter is pretty good, and the
It's
ISPL
interesting.
is pretty good.
It could be one of those things. I mean, the other thing is a lot of people don't realise that when you're mastering, you don't just use one limiter quite often. You normally run it through a couple, and one will do catching those peaks, and the other one will then lift the signal up. So it's kind of, this might be quite good in the chain somewhere. You'd have to experiment with it with whatever else you're using on your master.
It's never going to be discounted. Is it always going to be 125 quid? Euros, sorry.
I mean, It's very odd with iCame Metal Media. Sometimes they do deals.
Yeah.
Sometimes they give away plugins. You know, if you fill in a form, get on their mailing list, they'll give you a plugin every now and again. It's available as part of the T-Rex bundle if you buy the whole lot. They do the 14-day demo, but again, it's got the white noise thing. We won't go into that. It's just annoying. But hey, it does the job. It's all right. I think the metering lets it down a little bit.
Okay, so Sean, the T-Rex Stealth Limiter, is it shit?
It's not great. It does the job. I just think it could do a better job.
Okay.
There you go.
There we go. So we've done that for whoever it was that asked us to do the T-Rex Stealth Limiter. Please don't forget to subscribe to our channel and
hit the notification bell. The next time we're slagging off plugins, you'll get to see it all happen.
Sayonara, suckers.